Manipulating people have no place in your life. And sometimes that's what hurts, because it's going to be people who are close to you that do the most manipulating. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Lovely J Podcast. It's me, Miss Coco Boughton. And today we are just going to be talking about how some manipulating and deceiving people are, and how we don't really need to put up with their trash. Because that's what it is. They trying to make us trash because they really don't value themselves. Now, I've already done my face wash for the morning. By the way, it's 10:21 a.m. I got up around 8:30 a.m. and I just been laying in the bed doing some work, uploading some YouTube videos. By the way, go check them out. Lovely J Podcast on YouTube, and also on Facebook is Lovely J Podcast. And on TikTok, check me out, Jamie the Advocate, and shop with my showcase. Okay? Yeah, now I'm back. So I've already done my face wash this morning. I did another oil cleansing with Be Plain Mung Bean Cleansing Oil. It helps to get off excess makeup and, the impurities on the skin that otherwise would just sit around if you didn't do anything about it. But yeah, got that done. Now I'm awake and I am quite thirsty this morning. Yep, I already done the face wash, so we just gonna walk on down to the living room. Let me grab my pocketbook. Anybody else have to take your pocketbook with you? Well, I have to take mine because I have my medicines in it. Let's go. Oh yeah, let me grab a couple of things here too. There was some things I wanted to talk about. Okay. I had a couple of products back here in my room that I wanted to talk about today. Hello, other room. Uh-oh, my living room is clearing out. I'm getting there. Whew. And to be honest, I just really want to sit still this morning. I do. Thirsty. I'm getting some water. Y'all know we gotta drink some and then put it back underneath there. I would do a protein shake this morning, but I think I'll leave that for lunch. If I do anything this morning for breakfast, or it's close to lunchtime, it may just be one of these walking tamales. Y'all shop my shop right now, because them walking tamales is Filio's walking tamales. If you don't like getting up, going to the restaurant, getting them, order these offline, because they are so good. And they vegan, but they the real deal. They taste just as much like a fresh tamale as if you went to the Mexican store or restaurant yourself and got them. Let's pull my little thing up here. I feel a little congested. My the sides of my neck feels sore. Who grabbed me in my sleep? No. But listen, y'all. Before we talk about manipulating people, let me tell you something, though. I did a brand yesterday. And you can go look at my videos. And I was going to do a full out face makeup. And the brand is called Point of View. I was going to do a full out face because I thought that's what it was going to take to get the matte makeup to look good, the blush. I was doing a matte. I was doing a I was prepping my skin for the matte blush to make sure it was going to settle down into my skin and that it was going to look as smooth as possible. And I thought I was going to need foundation to bring that color out that I was using. But y'all, it turns out that I used that Prep Skin by Point of View. It's called Renew It Bundle on my TikTok shop. Renew It Bundle. Now, it's almost $100 for like 3 items. But they are so worth it. They are so worth it. I used that bundle. And I did a video on it. And by the time I had finished with applying the bundle to my face, which gives the extra hydration and the dewy and the glassy look to make your skin look radiant and luxurious and things like that. Make it look yummy, yummy skin. Okay, so by the time I finished putting those 3 products on my face, I did not need any foundation. I was like, foundation where? I don't need any foundation. I didn't need the foundation because my skin was looking I've never seen my skin look that good. That's how good looking my skin was. So all I had to do was just apply the blush, and that was it. And you would think that I had on foundation, but I didn't have on any. I was surprised to see that like that. I'm still surprised by that brand worked that good on my skin. And it is for us ladies with mature skin. You know, I'm 49, so I consider that to be a little mature, semi-mature, however y'all want to say it, because right at 50's door. And I'm just shocked by it. I mean, maybe y'all aren't shocked because you've seen skin like that before, but that's a first for me. That was a first for me, so I was like, yeah. If I wanted to buy a product, that would be one of the first products that I would buy if I was doing skincare. And it's just a makeup. It's not even really for makeup. It's just skin prep for whenever you do get ready to put on makeup or, you know, whatever you're prepping for. And my face is so soft. I've never felt my face so soft. And I think that's because I start the morning out with the Be Plain Bean cleansing oil, and then I use that hours later. Yeah, so it's over there in my shop, the TikTok shop, Jamie the Advocate. You can get that bundle right now for less than $100. It's right at $100, but it's less than, and it's free shipping. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed in it if you're dealing with those dry skins, those big pores and dirty pores and things like this. Everything I'm telling you right now is a plus. I do not like promoting anything that does not help people because I know my financial situation. And I know that whenever I buy something, it's because I really think I need it or I'm trying to improve myself. And I may be spending my last. So I don't want somebody to spend their last on something that don't really work. That's why I don't be explaining, but that's why I be coming back on this podcast talking about the different products. Because some things I can't say on TikTok about the product that I can say over here on the podcast. Yeah. All right. So let's get into this thing about manipulating people. Let me hit Google and find some scriptures on manipulating people. Let's see. I feel a little congested this morning. Okay, so the Bible does warn us against manipulating people. And the Bible refers to them as deceitful and false. Let's see. Warnings against deceptive and selfish motives. Proverbs 12:22. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. Are you trustworthy on today? Can somebody tell you something about what's going on in their life without you pretending to care and then run out and tell everybody else? Well, I know people who are like that, who was in my circle for a long time. They pretended to care about my situation that I was going through, back in the days when we were doing the domestic violence thing. I had different people that was in my ear that would say, well, do this, do that. And then within the next breath, they would be talking against me or putting my business out there in public, which I don't think that was fun. Or this is where I started having trust issues with friends. When I started finding out people were laughing at me instead of with me. They were laughing at my situation because to them it was funny seeing a young girl get taken down by an older man. To them some people just love drama. So to them, they was getting a kick off, a thrill off of seeing these fusses and these arguments instead of coming and say, well, listen, this is what you ought to do. If I was you, I wouldn't put up with that. Or if I was you, I'd think twice about, before you go any further with this relationship. Is this the kind of life you want to live? Is this the kind of person you want in front of your kids? But instead of doing that, I had people who mocked the situation, who laughed about the situation, who acted out the situations that I was going through. And to this day, some of them people are still doing the same thing. They're acting it out. Just like I've received 3 phone calls yesterday, and I got so upset. Not so upset. I wanted to say a few choice words, but I caught myself and I said, let me not respond to that, because each person that called me mentioned something about the Montgomery Herald newspaper. Mind you, these people don't even buy a newspaper. If somebody don't give them something, they're not going to buy it for themselves. And let alone do they comprehend what they read in the newspaper. So I'm just listening and I'm like, okay, so what? I brought a newspaper last week. And I just told my son about it last night that I had saw his name. No, the night before that I had saw his name in the newspaper for jury duty. And now all of a sudden everybody that talks to me wants to talk about a doggone newspaper. I'm hanging up on you people like that because I already know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get a response off me. You're trying to trigger me. But these are manipulating people. They are manipulating. They pretend like they want to talk to you and like everything is so urgent. Just to get a reaction or to trigger you, you got to let those people go. Those are lying lips. Those people who like to carry a bone, bring a bone, carry a bone. Those people who like to keep gossiping about other people's situations. Those are some lying lips. Lying lips. Get away from that. 2 Corinthians 4:2 says, we have renounced secret and shameful ways. We do not use deception, nor do we distort the word of God. A lot of ministers that you're listening to now, they are distorting the word of God because they already know your situation. So they're going to play on your situation for 2 things. Either to make themselves look good or to gain money. Self-gain. That's what they're doing now. I have yet to see one church that is truly operating in this day and time with the spirit of the true living God. I have not seen it. And if you know what one is, point me out to it. Because I'm not talking about a church. If this church is going by government rules and manipulation tactics instead of sticking to biblical principles, you are not the church. You are an enemy to God. You are deceitful. Yeah, God will send confusion to places he wants to destroy, or, places he wants to wake up. He will let people confuse and deceive themselves. But when you know that you are doing things to people that you should not be doing. It's just like this deacon. We have a deacon in our church, and every time when I first started going back to church, well, not when I first started going back, but when my name first got on that blacklist thing, that flag list for the community watch, every time I pulled up to the church, he pulled up around the same time. Every time he got out, he'd throw something on the ground, like a piece of trash, and then pretend like he picking the trash up. And dude, did you not see? I'm sitting right there looking at you. I saw you throw it on the ground purposely, intentionally. You see what I'm saying? Those are lying actions. He didn't have to do that, but he wanted to intimidate me to try to make me feel bad. And then later on, I saw his daughter do the same thing. So a group of people trying to do the same thing to you to make you feel some type of way about yourself or to make you feel unwelcome, those are not your church family. That is not church. That's a social gathering. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to find where the true church is these days. And if you see one, if you know somebody who does not operate off those community watch laws, let me know, because those are most likely the people who have not been manipulated and who are operating in the true spirit of the living God. Because most of these people now, they are operating off of this coverted, nasty spirit. It's nasty, y'all. It's nasty. They want you to feel shame for everything you do. They're operating off of these black and dark webs, and most of them cannot call the pot and the kettle black, or however you say that, because most of them have issues themselves. They're not being all that truthful to their spouses. They're not taking out the time with their children like they take out with other people's children. You don't think your kids watching how you treat other people's children, but you treat them like crap? They watching you. Yeah. And some parents are bad at trying to put shame onto their kids to do the right thing instead of just teaching them to do the right thing. You know, that's a parent being manipulating and deceiving. That was one of my biggest things that I had toward my mother when I was younger, is she wouldn't teach me how to do the thing that I needed to do, but instead she wanted to mock me and embarrass me about it. Wait till she get around people to say, oh, you got a broad-looking butt, you shouldn't have wore that, or you need to put on deodorant. You know, why embarrass your children like that? I don't care if it is with another family member. Some things should be left in the house. Family should know everything about what's going on. You know, some things need to be just left in the house. Everything don't need to come out to everybody, because you never know who's going to use that against your child later on in life. They may look at them and be like, oh, that's the stanky one right there. We're not going to let her be in this, because you done ran your mouth off. That's why you got to be careful. Warnings against deception and selfish motives. You may feel good as a parent saying that. You may think you saying something, but in reality, you ain't saying nothing but hurting your child when you do it in public, when you could teach them at home what they need to do. Romans 16:18 says, for such people are not serving our Lord, but their own appetites. By smooth talk and flattery, they deceive the minds and naive people. That's what I was just saying. That's what they're going to do. They're going to deceive you. They will deceive you so easily because they're smooth talk, because they sound like and they look like they are preaching and teaching the word of God, because they look like they your friends, because they done stuck with you by your side for 25, 30 years. But really, do some inventory here. The whole time they were by your side, how many of them times did they actually help you, and compared to how many times you came through for them? And I know we don't keep count of right or wrong, but sometimes you got to look at the truth of something. You doing all the work. You in a one-sided friendship. You in a one-sided relationship, and you wonder why your head messed up. Your head is messed up because everything is one-sided, and our brain wasn't made to work like that. Our brain was made to reciprocate, to give love. One side do this, the other side do that. But if one side stops working, it's called paralyzed. Some of your friends are paralyzing you because the friendship is one-sided. some of the relationships that you're in is paralyzing because it's one-sided. When I was in the paralyzing relationship, you can't do nothing but what they say do. That's the type of spirit that they rocking, that Jazzy Bell spirit. And it's strong and it's hard and addicting. That spirit is addicting. Once you get hold of it, it's so good to you. How they trauma bond you. It feels so good that it's hard to let go of, and you don't want anybody else to have it either. You don't want anybody else to have that person or to have that friendship with that person like you do, because you have a false sense of reality thinking that this friendship has made you who you are, when in reality it's brought you down. It made you who you are, all right. It made you less than. It made you feel like you are nobody. It made you feel inadequate. It was the same friendship that put you in the back of the line whenever that friend got moved to the front of the line when she got with or he got with their other friends. But they had to leave you behind. They would leave you behind in a heartbeat to get what they want, to have their way. I started to tell this story about when I was in a car accident in 2016. And I might go ahead and tell it. But in 2016, I was in a car accident. I was blowing my horn, and I was trying to get out the way at the same time. But a guy backed back into me going wide open. He was trying to back out fast and hit me, and that's what messed my back up, y'all. That's why I walk with a cane to this day. That's where a lot of my pains are still coming from, that car accident. But I had people riding with me. I had somebody riding with me. And the person riding with me knew I didn't have no transportation, knew my car was out and things. And they were like, well, I'm not going to sue your insurance company. It's all right. I didn't get hurt. But then later on, how about this person went behind my back and they sued my insurance company? And they got a pretty good chunk of money, about $4,000 to maybe $6,000 off my insurance company. And they said, well, when the money come, I'll give you $1,000 toward getting you a vehicle. They never gave me nothing. Mind you, this was a preacher. Never gave me nothing. Took that money and did what they usually do with it. Selfish game. But I'm saying this to say that when things are one-sided, there's some manipulation in that. There's some deception in that. See, trying to deceive me to get what you want, it's only going to be a temporary gain. But while they think they're hurting you, God already has a plan for you. That should be a lesson to you. Everything they did to hurt you should be a lesson to you. And if you don't wake up and realize it, your body will, because your body will reject being around them. My body right now rejects being around close family members. I don't want to be around them. If my body is saying, you make me feel bad, you make me feel insecure, you make me feel unsafe around you, then I don't want to be around you. And it's not a form of paranoid delusion. It's the truth. If your body has seen somebody doing something to you, you've seen somebody doing something to you over and over, but you keep masking it down. Say for instance, okay, and this is where a lot of women get into trouble at. The first time your boyfriend steals from you, steals some money from you out of your pocketbook, just goes in your pocketbook and gets what you got laying around in there. And to them, it's like, well, it ain't but like $5 or $10. And they try to blush it up, blow it off like, well, it won't but $5 or $10. I'll pay you back. But you never get that money back. And it's the fact that they stole from you in the first place, didn't get your permission to get that money. But because they come up with a nice, cunning excuse, well, I needed to go ahead and get some gas so I can go to work, or I need to use it. I need to use it for something, but I'll pay you back. And that first time that you ignore what just really happened, the truth, you mask it down. You say, okay, well, just as long as you give it back to me, you mask it down. But they don't give it back to you. They wait and wait a long time for you to forget. That's how deception works. Y'all, I'm sorry if y'all hear me doing that. I don't know, my nose is, I don't know, allergies. That's how deception starts off working in one-sided relationships and friendships. How about the friend that goes out and tell your business, and you know that friend is the only one that knew what was going on in your household, and then when you hear it come back to you, and you confront them about it, and they say, well, give me a second, y'all. Had to cut that off. You confront them about it, and all they say to you is, oh, well, I did tell her because she asked me about how you was doing, and I just thought I'd tell them how you was doing. But that was your personal business between you and your friend. But your friend couldn't wait to go and tell other people about it, the situation. Those are the people that are trying to make you shame of your life. And that's why you don't have to be around them. That's a choice to be around them. And you should let them know out of all people, hey, that's a choice that I hang with you. It's not a need. You're not the only person in this world. I go hang by myself and just talk to strangers along the way. Before I let you deceive me like that and try to shame my situation when your situation is not much better than what I'm already going through. Okay? So those people, they have an appetite just for themselves. They don't care anything about you. If they try to manipulate and deceive you, that's like, I had somebody come here and everywhere I went, somebody was throwing down these little diabetic strips. And so I knew it had to be coming from somebody that was with me because first of all, it was happening here at the house, and I didn't say anything about it. But then when we started traveling off places, it was happening again. And then when I asked about it, everybody gets quiet. Nobody says nothing about it. So do you think I trust people like that? I don't trust people like that. I already know for me, if something happens with me, I got to try to keep myself fit and strong as I can because the people in my family, I already know they dirty. They dirty. And they're teaching the little ones how to be dirty. So I already know that I got to stay up on, try to stay well as I can. But the deception is real. And you have to make a choice in your life. Do you want to continue to deal with that or not? I ordered food the other day. I got my food back. Well, somebody stole my keys. My keys are stolen and missing again. Now, y'all know I be knowing where I put my keys, okay? There's no dementia here, no senile here or anything. But I let my grandbaby play with my keys about 2 Fridays ago. And I left them here in the living room. And the next day I woke up, which was going to be that Saturday, I was going to go get some tamales. My keys were gone. Now, nobody knows where the keys is, but I know who was here. But nobody knows where the keys were. Somebody setting plates over a vent. Paper plates. Trying to deceive my mind. Trying to do things to trigger me. You got people in your life like that too. That may not be doing what the people in my life are doing. But they come and they try to deceive. And they try to wreak havoc everywhere they go. Well, they do wreak havoc. Because they ain't nothing but the enemy. And they teaching their kids how to be the enemy. And I don't feel bad about anything I'm saying because I sit there and I watch the truth. See, that's the thing. You got to watch for what is true and separate from what your mind, what your personal opinion is of it. You have to, in other words, you got to die down the flesh to catch this stuff. But I've learned to leave people right where they are. I don't miss anybody that I'm not supposed to be around. I don't. People be like, Jamie, why haven't you came and, hung out with us? Why you not chilling out with us? I don't miss you. I don't miss you. That's the answer. I don't miss you. I don't miss being manipulated. I don't miss being deceived. I don't miss being shamed about my situations that I be going through, or being shamed about my home because my home may not look like yours. I don't miss that. I told you that thing works two ways. I don't miss trying to fit in where I don't fit. Once you start getting this personal growth thing with you and spiritual growth, you're not going to miss these people like as if you would have when you first started knowing them and things. When you first started knowing them and you didn't know any better, you was young and naive, you didn't miss them, and the smooth talk was flattering. The smooth talk was deceiving your naive mind. But as you grow older and as you go through life's trials and tribulations, you see who's there for you and who's not there for you. And even sometimes the one that's there for you, you see right through them. That's life. But you don't have to stay with those same people. I don't miss you trying to hurt me like that. I don't miss you embarrassing me. And that's what people don't understand. See, they remember everything you did, but they remember none of what they did to make you feel the way you feel right now. Can I get a witness? Am I talking good or what? Let me see. I'm going to do one more of these, and then I'm going to get off of here and find something to eat for this morning. Well, I have two more of these I want to. These are just some notes, y'all, and these are the scriptures. Some of these may be the actual scripture, and some of them may not be. But James 3:16 reminds us, for where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. Now, let me tell you something. That's why I'm trying to get my house in order. And what I mean by that, my spiritual house with God and also my physical house. Because I have, like these samples and products laying out and things. And in here is a little bit of disorder. And among this disorder is also the things that people are coming in my home doing. What did I discover? I discovered that I went to reach in my pocketbook last night and get my nighttime medicine out. How about somebody then broke all the lipsticks up in my pocketbook and left them smeared all around my pocketbook to make my pocketbook dirty. Had it smeared all on my cell phone. Yeah, that's what they did. How do I know it was them? Because I didn't do it. I didn't do that. I didn't touch my pocketbook for almost 2 days, I think it was. So I didn't do that. And why would I do that to my own stuff? Why would I want to reach my hand down and feel nothing but lipstick? Pretty lipstick, too. But that's how evil works. Evil will set up in your house, come in your house, try to take over your house. But as for me and my house, this house right here, you will do what you want to do up in here, but I'm still going to serve the Lord. And for this house, we're going to serve the Lord here. I mean, y'all might do this other religious stuff, but as for this house, I've already got up in my mind, a made up mind that I am going to serve God no matter what happens. You could put more lipstick down in there. No matter what happens, I'm still going to serve God. And that's just it. There's no other way around it. Because when I needed a friend, when I needed somebody to hear me, I couldn't go to people. I had to go to the Spirit of the living God. I couldn't go to you people. You people are horrible to talk to sometimes. And all they want to do is see if you're going to cry so they can run back and say, oh, God, that girl was crying. Oh, you should have seen her. Well, you know what? Instead of being ashamed these days, I own it. Yeah, I cried. Yeah, I miss that man. Yeah, I love that man. Go tell that. Run and tell that I have the spirit of love in my heart. But you won't run and tell that. You want to tell the bad sides of things. How she gonna miss that man when he done her like that? You can love somebody that hates you. Isn't that what the Bible teach us to do? How you walking around hollering you Christian, but you wondering how can I love a man who I had ups and downs with? And your ups and downs are no better than mine in his word. And I'm beginning to think too, that there's some forms of this. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm going to tell y'all something too. You got to be careful about this narcissism thing, because that's a deception term too. There are people out here who do have these personality disorders and things, but you have to be careful about what you say God cannot do with a person, because it can happen last minute. It can happen any minute. That God can step in and make even these diagnoses look foolish. So I'm going to be careful with how I use those terms. And even if I was going through, and when I was going through those type of situations, they won't tell, and people won't tell the whole truth. They just tell the bad parts of it. And that's why I started glorifying the bad parts when I was younger, because everybody else, that's the only part they were focusing on. But truth be told, there was a lot of good inside of that relationship. We would have had 3 kids. And I believe those kids were made out of love. We would have had 3 kids, but I couldn't carry them. That was brutal. That was a brutal time in our life. There was some good there. But to hear people tell it every day was bad. And that's just impossible. Every day was not bad. I'm not saying that's it. Hold up. That's not impossible. But every day was not bad. Even push that down into my children's head. I had grown-ups that would push it in my children's head. Won't you put that man out? Won't you put that man out? Them children weren't but children. They were, when we met that man, my children were like 3 and 4 years old. How they gonna put somebody out? How you gonna fix your mouth to tell my kids to come in my house and try to take over my house? That's wrong off the gate. They're to teach your children to go against, their parents. I could see if I was letting the man do something to them, but I wasn't. Okay, the next thing is going to be, that's why we got to get our houses in order before I move on. That's why you got to clean up what you messed up. There's some people, though, you're not going to be able to make nothing right with them. So those are the people that you have to just let fall to the side, shake the dust off your feet, shake the devil off, and keep going. Because those people are already hard and difficult to deal with. You don't worry about it. That's going to be between them and God. You let it go. 1 Thessalonians 4:6, Paul warns against wronging or taking advantage of a fellow believer, as God will avenge those who engage in such practices. Watch what God do. Watch what God do. He will avenge those. That's why you don't see me. I talk about my situation that I go through. And I know some of y'all talk about what y'all go through too. But you don't see us out here acting a fool over our situations. You don't see us out here trying to condemn others because of what we have been through. You don't see us putting others down because of what we've been through. And we know exactly what you did to us. We can tell you what you did to us. But we don't dwell on it like that, because as believers, we do forgive, but we don't forget. We use these as stumbling blocks to build on, to learn lessons from, and to go back and testify to others that, yes, you can make it. Yeah, that relationship was horrible, but girl, God, you still got a future with God. So don't, feel what you need to feel, but don't put your feelings and emotions over God's future plans for your life. And that's what I had to look at. God does still have a plan for my life. And I know this last couple months, since August, I had to really stick close to God. Because I knew once I started grieving that was a process I would have to do, a solo process. And I thank God for being there for me. He has really lifted my spirits and helped me to see things so that I wouldn't be selfish in it. When I first heard that my ex was passing, that had passed, I was like, when I heard he had passed, and they said he chose death, I was like, why? So many whys in there. But then I had to sit back and realize that I don't know the talk him and God had. And you don't either. You don't know the talk that your loved one is having with God right now. The prayer that they're having with God to heal them, to make them better. Sometimes people get their healing through death. And as much as we hate to admit it, that's the truth. The first dream I had about him, he was walking through his sister's house. This was a dream I had about him. And he said, "Look, Jamie, I can eat now. I can eat anything I want. I got new limbs. Look, my fingers work." Just showing me everything that worked on them. Now, this is a dream now, so don't y'all take that wrong. Now, y'all know we dream sometimes when people pass, when they're close to us, we'll have a dream. And sometimes we won't have a dream. I didn't never have a dream about my dad's. But with him, I had the dream. And he was just like, "I'm okay. Look, I can eat now anything I want to eat. I got teeth. I got, new limbs and things." And, perhaps that dream might have came from, that's how I know God to heal us completely, totally, whenever we're in his presence. And we know to be absent from the body is to be present with God. And so in that dream, I don't like doing too many signs and things unless, it's necessary. But in that dream, I didn't take it as a sign or anything. I just took it as a dream. I said, well, I dreamed about him. I didn't let it go deep or anything. That's it. I just had a dream about him. I didn't, for one thing, I didn't come in agreement with the dream, and I didn't go in disagreement with the dream. I just realized that it was a dream that I had. Now, did the dream give me any peace and closure? No, it didn't. I just realized it was a dream. It was a dream I have. I don't rely on certain things. You got to be careful because the devil's in your dreams too. But with that dream, it was okay. It wasn't anything bad. It was something good. And so I just left it as a dream. And that's how we need to do sometimes. We just need to leave things as they are. Don't try to pick and pry. Don't try to guess who God has taken into heaven or who's going to hell. Just live the life that the Bible says to live. And we're not perfect by any chances, but we have areas in our life that God has perfected. And I think sometimes people get that screwed up, but in other words, be careful of deceiving spirits, manipulating spirits. They are among us now more than ever. I look at the Charlie Kirk thing. First of all, I'm going to tell y'all where they wrong at. God says do not worship. His word tells us do not worship people. Do not worship man. Don't put no other God before him. And they are making Charlie Kirk like he is this new God. That lets you know that we got troubled times ahead. We have troubled times ahead. And those who are in Christ are going to be steadfast and unmovable. But those of you who are wavering in the faith and playing with the fence, you're going to be tossed around. You're going to lose your mind getting tossed around, worrying about your benefits, worrying about how you're going to make it from day to day, worrying about your job. You're going to get tossed around in that thing as if you're in a dryer, tossing tennis shoes. And you know how bad that sounds. And some of them shoes come out looking beat up if it's staying there too long. So you better get the real faith and your real belief in God, because right now the Trump administration is making people many gods. Many gods. And they want you to bow down to them. So this may be a time when you need to sit things out a little bit. Sometimes you need to sit things out and let them Let them go ahead and play what they gonna play so it can play on out. Because we already know they're gonna turn on each other. I mean, that's just life. They're gonna turn on each other. Cause Trump don't like nobody. He don't like nobody, and everybody that tries to make him feel like he's doing a great job, he's basically still putting them down. So hey. Okay, y'all. I'm not gonna do that. But be careful of these manipulating spirits, and whatever you do, keep your faith in God. That's it. Peace, love, happiness. Y'all go be great on this nice Tuesday. I started to say hump day. Why does it feel like it feels like Wednesday? And I actually thought I was gonna do Kiva today. Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great one.